How's everyone doing?
Good, good.
Okay, first of all, I just want to thank Adam for allowing me to be here to do my presentation. The reason I'm here is because I got diagnosed almost 10 years ago, the 18th of next month, it'll be 10 years, and I got diagnosed with Asperger Syndrome. Since then, a lot of things have changed. Since I got the diagnosis, I've worked in different areas, and I've been here for 5 years. So that's an accomplishment.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Also, because of my condition, I've broken barriers. For instance, not many people with my condition can work on the front end because of the stress, a lot of other things. I've dealt with it all, and here I am talking to you. And on top of that, as some of you may know, I'm very highly decorated. 2-time presidential status. Front end buddy. I have yet to move up in the company, one way or the other. So yeah. So in case you're wondering, what are the signs and symptoms of this condition? I'll tell you what they are. First of all, lack of eye contact. That's a big, big giveaway. Secondly, they can be a little brutally honest, a little bit blunt, even be perceived as rude. HR should know this. Because just because they're rude does not mean they have anything against you. It's just because they don't know how to conduct themselves. One other thing, these guys tend to know it all. Some of them don't know nothing. They're just making things up. But if they know a lot from years of experience, yeah, that's a thing. Also, should you ever have someone with this condition working in your store, let's get one thing straight. Make sure they got social skills and training. They can be more acceptable. Because if they don't, HR is going to have a wonderful time saying bye-bye to them. Because it's just the way they are. Now, the reason why I chose cash is to prove to myself I can do it. And I did. I've had great reviews from all the front-end managers because of my performance. And because of this, I have a grand total of 11 accomplishments underneath my belt. Actually, sorry, 12, because I'm one of the top 3 people to sell a PC Children's Charity. So, there you have it. Thank you. So, aside from that, all I got to say is, during my time, since I got my diagnosis, a lot of things came up. Sometimes I can be under extreme duress. I'm on the computer. I can say some things which are very nasty. Guess what? I get spoken to. Why did you say this? Why did you say that? Okay, it's under extreme duress. Okay, we got a problem here. Sometimes I got away with it. Sometimes I got nailed. When I got nailed, I really understood. Yup, not a good idea to begin with. But aside from that, this is how people like me are. However, here's another big giveaway, and I feel embarrassed saying this. Some of us have gas problems. So we could be talking and can smell bad. That's part of the condition. But don't worry, some of us will do everything we can to avoid it from happening. If it happens, it happens. So that's a thing. What else can I say? When people like me are in an environment like this, some of us can excel, and we're just average. So we do what we got to do. But another thing about me is I'm pretty outgoing. I'm sure some of you know that. I can be funny, I can be a little bit outgoing. Sometimes I could be a little bit carried away. I could inadvertently piss you off for whatever reason, but I do my best not to do that. I do my work. But aside from that, I can't think of anything. Does anybody have any questions? Got it all?
I think it's amazing that if you never said this stuff, I could relate a lot instantly in your personality, and I think it's great you've taken the time and the humility to come in here. And I think we all learn a lot, right? Like honestly, right? And that's important. And I love how you speak on behalf of it, to better it, not to make it a cause, right? So
I remembered many years ago, I'll never forget, because I had a manager say, "You should be training the cashiers." My answer was, it's something I've always wanted to do. And I mean it. Because training people with my condition, training people, very, very rare. Because you gotta have personal skills to do it. You gotta be able to keep your cool to avoid doing anything you're gonna regret down the road. When am I being a trainer? When am I being a manager? When am I doing any of the things? The thing is, you gotta be able to do it. Like I said before, in order for me, why I went to cash was to prove to myself that I can do it. And I did.
Future guidelines will definitely take offline that you and I can talk about. But the piece that I want you to walk out of here of is knowing that, even I said this before you walked in the room, that if I had all the front end doing the customer service that you provide, I wouldn't have meetings.
Wouldn't have what, sorry?
I wouldn't have meetings. I wouldn't have to have this stuff. I could be on the floor all day re-merchandising ketchup displays, right? So, you definitely lead by example in that respect, and I really thank you.
Yeah, and one other thing I should have mentioned though, you may have people with my condition or other people who may have worst case scenarios. I've seen people with Tourette's, schizophrenia, so bad that they're in their local psych wards getting treated here, there. Thankfully, I never went down that road. Never taken any medication. I've seen shrinks who couldn't understand me. But aside from that, I was pretty much unscathed. But my therapist, thank God, saw me. He said, hey, you're not so bad after all. So he said, I'm not going to see you anymore. Ever since then, I haven't seen a therapist since then. So if I have a problem, I deal with the internal people, or if I have any serious problems, I go to my phone and say, can you help me with this? And another thing I have, or two things many people in my condition don't have. A diploma, I showed you my jacket, I was wearing it.
Yep.
That's one. And a driver's license, that's two. I have one. The problem is, we can be nervous behind the wheel, and we can all of a sudden do a little jerky movement all of a sudden. That's the problem with this. I'd love to drive one day, but I haven't been behind the wheel of the car. Whatever you do, please don't ask me to drive. Worst case scenario, I swear it's straight when I'm off to the side. That's the thing. So, that's the thing. Any other questions?
You got the microphone. Close it out. 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds it is. Yes?
Actually, I wanted to know if you knew what the statistic is, how it affects these people, 1 out of 100, or...
Okay, last I heard, I didn't get a job there. 1 in 80 families have autism. High functioning is probably double. We got, what, 12, 13 million people here in the province? I'm probably betting 30% of disabled people have my condition. The problem is, now that the DSM-5's come out, Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, they clump everything under autism. That's wrong, because the lower functioning autistic people, they're the ones that are very severe. They can't talk, they can't do this, they can't do that. People like me, however, we talk, we express ourselves, we do all that. So, that's the thing. Higher functioning people have made the world of difference. If you see any inventors, they were never normal. They couldn't keep their marriages intact, they couldn't follow the teacher on the blackboard, nothing. Because they're so obsessed with trying to make the world a better place. That sounds
I can't keep any of the girls. I'm trying to make the world a better place here, and I can't pay attention to anything.
And another thing, which is an extreme rarity, and I give everyone props in front of it, they absolutely love me out there. They're saying, hey, how you doing? What's going on? I try to talk to them, making sure there's no bigwigs around, managers, whatever. Brief, 30-second conversation, pick their brain, make them feel that they're here. I'm a buddy, that's part of my job. I wish I could be utilized more for orientation to bring the new people and make them settle down. It's kind of like moving from unemployed to employed.
It's good. Appreciate your time, man. Honestly, I know that's it's not an easy thing to come up and talk about, right? So good for you to have the courage.
Yeah,
to do it.
I do actually.
And there's no bigwigs in this store, just so you know.
Well,
no
would you
bigwigs in
consider
this
Garen
store.
one of them?
No, you got no. Yes, they spend maybe $6 a week here. We're calling him a bigwig at all.
Seriously?
No, absolutely not. He's just one of us.
Yeah, and one other thing I'm going to share with you guys, I'm going to go back to my ex-high school, and I'm going to tell them about my condition. I'm going to do it in a little thing like this with the teachers, and then I'm going to do it on the grand stage in front of all the students, just to prove myself I can do it. My cell phone got stolen in the gym a few months ago, so the original number is there. I got to give her my new number so I can arrange something. If I have to get someone, I'll ask you first.
100%. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good job.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.